Hello everyone, this is Daniel Riley for Sports Talk on Power Talk Internet Radio. I'd like to start this week apologizing for a journalistic error. Last week I mistakenly stated from a faulty memory Alabama won last year's national title game. I apologize for that error. Now, on to this week's podcast. I have no choice but to address a much more serious issue than trivial games this week. Any of us who thought Washington knows what it's doing addressing racial strife have been proven wrong. Congress owes us an apology because neither party knows what it's doing in making a fair world for all. The heinous events in Charlottesville have caught my attention in that no one in Congress, and I mean no one, has any clue what's going on as far as creating a fair and just world is concerned. Not the Democrats, not the Republicans, no one. In fact, both parties, as of right now, need to quit giving themselves so much credit in creating a fair world for all. And no, we really aren't as tolerant as we think we are. And that goes for both ends of the political spectrum. We lived in a total fantasy world where rampant censorship and hypocrisy would kill racism. Shame on us. Meanwhile, the Republicans lived in a fantasy land of their own where getting ahead is just a matter of self-confidence and working hard. I contend neither party have thought things through at all. Racism is built on an ignorant belief passed down through generations. And as hard as it hurts, it cannot disappear by simply censoring books or films. But bigoted beliefs are shared by hate groups like the KKK and Black Panthers. The KKK arriving in Charlottesville is a reminder that contempt between the races and ignorance regarding race are still here. As I've mentioned earlier, no one, and I mean no one, not Democrat, not Republican, has done a thing to make that disappear, though both parties think they've accomplished something in that arena. This isn't about shoving political correctness down society's throat. In fact, I fear the hypocrisies of PC culture have made race relations worse, if anything. Lather, rinse, repeat. We're right back where we started. What got us, the United States, in this situation is extremism. For every college kid, quote-unquote, offended by an episode of Samurai Jack, there's an extremist on the far right who thinks those of us who didn't strike it rich just didn't work hard enough. The likes of Rush Limbaugh make a ridiculous, ignorant statement on race, and 5 minutes later, NFL running back Adrian Peterson makes a fool of himself by mouthing off and comparing the life of an NFL player to, quote, slavery, end quote. Is anyone really surprised we're bombarded with this issue every day? That hate groups still exist? I'm sure not. It's sad and pathetic, but we put ourselves in this situation as a society. Both extremes of the political spectrum got us where we are. the political right becomes overly cynical, and the left comes in and depicts a rich celebrity as a victim, sending us out of the pan, into the fire, and we start all over again. It's just pathetic. Nobody's willing to address the fact poverty as a whole has gotten worse in the U.S. either. Everybody blames things on terms of their background, and soon it's impossible to tell if either side is telling the truth. And nobody does enough to stop real racism like the KKK and getting them to disappear. Like, telling the media to stop giving them airtime. As long as the press is able to stop giving the KKK airtime, I would at least have a tiny bit of optimism as far as critical thinking is concerned. Hate groups don't deserve to be on the news. As ignorant as they are, they don't deserve anyone listening to them. And the fact is, events like Charlottesville have me afraid this is only going to get worse before it gets better. Some ignorant white supremacist group shows up, followed by a supremacist group from a different background. It's time for people to stand up against supremacist groups of all kinds and start using common sense. People are not psychics. Everyone has different tastes, even within the same group. Listen to what someone has to say when they say they're a victim of some kind. And please, please, just learn to use critical thinking. No, we have no evidence of hypocrisy on serious issues like discrimination or helping. Let's start worrying about actual hate groups like the KKK. Not mere books in a library or an episode of your favorite show. We were exposed to real racism in Charlottesville, and this is a learning opportunity for everyone. It's a chance to get it right after decades of screw-ups by both Democrats and Republicans. Racism is still an attitude out there. We have to address it. And merely complaining about a rich celebrity not getting another award is getting in the way of this societal ill going away. Period. Cynicism, paranoia by each party, back and forth, it's accomplishing nothing. We had a chance in the 1960s, but afterwards, both parties in Washington dropped the ball as far as stopping injustice. So much so that everyone in the entire middle class is seeing said middle class disappear. And too few people care because somebody is complaining over trivial matters or insists society's out to get them, both black and white. If only it were that simple. Neither party gets it, and it's just sad. Yes, we were exposed to what real bigotry is in Charlottesville. It's time to quit screwing around and address it, teaching moral issues involving right and wrong. Not pulling stuff from the airwaves to complain about, like television episodes. Show your kids why discrimination is wrong. Let's go against discrimination of all kinds. That's the day we can truly be at peace going to bed at night here in the United States. Both political parties have allowed cynicism and paranoia to allow events like what happened in Charlottesville. Let's sit down and talk. U.S. society has quite a mess to clean up, It's time to get started, and it's very easy to become cynical. Here's hoping everyone, regardless of background, pitching in to help the city of Houston can help get us to stop bickering for a bit. This is Daniel Riley for Sports Talk on Power Talk Internet Radio, saying so long, and I hope you all tune in to my new episode next week.